I'm Brad Herlock with AA Shop Marketing. And as always, the regular quick disclosures right from the top. I'm not a coach. We're digital marketing here at AA Shop Marketing, and digital marketing specifically for auto repair shops. Our lane is, or my lane is, helping independent shops get more out of the right customers and keep their bays filled without wasting the dollars. Today on Garage Grit Live 23, we're going to pull practical lessons from the episode from the from Queens Streets to Shop Success, and how Bill built TrueFix AutoWorks on truth. I really liked that. I really enjoyed the opening of this podcast as he and I just kind of talked about trust and truth. Anyway, so you have to check that out. But Bill's story starts in Queens and lands in a shop that blends collision and mechanical with simple operating principle of tell the truth, own the relationship, solve the whole problem for the customer, even if that means bringing in an outside specialist. If you're living in the same headwinds as he is, a tech shortage with no one can hire right away or out overnight, ADAS calibrations that raise the bar on documentation, insurance frictions that can cause and stretch timelines and chew up your margins if you don't control the narrative. And Bill's approach is to make one shop the customer's single point of accountability, and then use partners to surgically apply partnerships when it matters. And that's how he gets it done on a smarter basis. You keep the trust, and the work gets done, even the complex pieces. Drop your shop name and your city in the comments, and give me, out of curiosity, what the biggest pain point that you're experiencing this month. Is it the team? Is it the customers? Is it your process? Is it software that you're using? Is it the marketing pieces that you're struggling with? I'm just kind of curious what is kind of pressing you, and maybe that becomes a topic for a future podcast episode. Speaking of future podcast episodes, I'm very excited to tell you about the plan for the August panel, which is about succession planning. Last July, 2024 July, we had an episode where we brought on the younger generation who had taken over a shop from the prior generation. And they talked about the challenges of doing so. And it was a great episode, one of my favorites. You got to check it out. This time in August of 2025, we are flipping that. We are bringing on 3 shop owners who are in the process of, or have tried, or just going to be talking through what it looks like to have a succession plan to pass it along. And so both episodes are going to be, last year's was already dynamite. This one's going to be dynamite as well. You're going to want to check it out. But let me keep talking about Bill's journey. Bill didn't put the body or the mechanical in the name of the shop. That was intentional. He didn't put it on the sign. Instead, he called it TrueFix AutoWorks. So the promise was broader from day one. A car arrives with a story. Maybe it hit something. Maybe there's a warning light. Maybe both. The experience Bill built keeps that story under one roof. The intake is visible, and it's thorough and visible to the customer. You decode the VIN, you capture the clean photos, you pre-scan, you run you kind of level with them on what this path looks like up front. And if the team does routinely that quality control that's expected, as baked into the process, then it stays in-house. It's going to, it's lower utilization specialty, like the wraps or the glass, that gets outsourced potentially if you don't have those people in-house. And maybe even the ADAS gets outsourced. Again, if you need to partner outside, that's great, but keep that trust in-house. And he's also been very upfront with people as far as when to use partners and when not to use partners. That's where that truth posture for truth first posture matters. If the numbers don't pencil you out so early, if the calibration changes, budget, the timeline changes, explain the reason up front before you put the paperwork in their hand. When the car is already on site, you treat the inspections, the basic maintenance as stewardship, not theater, right? The tires, the wipers, the fluids, all the indicators, maybe even the cosmetic touch-ups that prevent the second visit. It's all framed in a plain language. Since the car's here, let's keep it safe and save you the next trip. Hiring followed the same logic for him. Bill would bring in and bring somebody in and then teach the skill. You don't start people where they can win, so maybe whether that's detailing or tear down or supervised reassembly. And then you add responsibility over time as they show disciplined habits. Mistakes are handled as lessons once, but not patterns, right? And that tone shows up in the work, and then that carries over to how the customers feel about the shop. Keep learning how shop owners who are actually doing this. Join the Garage Grid Facebook podcast community on Facebook. I said that twice, yeah. So we have this group on Facebook to continue the conversation about these podcasts. And I encourage everyone to join it and just kind of listen to the podcast and then respond to them. If you have questions for the panelists, have at it. If you have questions about the topics, by all means, add your wins, add your roadblocks. Again, we're trying to help as many shops as possible. And this Facebook community is just, which is an offshoot of the Garage Grid podcast, is just one way that we're doing that. So trust gets tested when insurance and calibrations and delays enter into the picture. Now, Bill's background on both sides of the counter help him translate the complicated parts into a straightforward plan. In the moment a total loss value looks light, he doesn't just hand the customer a shrug. He lays out what accept looks like, or what the fight might look like, and what the documentation actually matters, so the decisions are eye-opening. The same thing when ADAS procedures drive up the cost to extend to the timeline. Okay, but this work isn't optional. It's safety work. You need to get it done, and then actually provide that documentation to show why it was done and that it was done. That kind of clarity, and again, explaining it before you just hand them the paperwork, is how you avoid days of avoid delays, avoid soft promises that fall apart. The paper trail is a part of the conversation, is not an afterthought. So pre and post scans, alignment reports, calibration certificates, OEM procedure references live with that repair order, not floating in someone's inbox. If a partner touches the car, their documentation has to be part of the file too, and give it all to the customer. It's about a tangible trust signal that says, we did this the right way and here's the proof. When you combine that with early, unvarnished news, good or bad, you stop the surprises from becoming reputational damage. So in this podcast, we also kind of gave tips on, or Bill gave tips on, not overcomplicating the language. When a customer asks why a timeline has changed, tie the answer to the honest reason: safety, cost, parts reality, in a sentence, so they can retell to their spouse without getting it wrong. When the numbers are range, put ends on that range in writing and tell them the earliest case and which is most likely, so people can handle the truth. I find that they have trouble handling moving targets in silence, and Bill echoed the same. So again, check out that podcast. I think you're going to enjoy it, but I'm kind of curious to hear from you. What's the one line or process step that keeps trust intact at your shop when the news isn't all that great? Share it word for word if you can. Put it on the comments here, or just share it with others. Let us know. Also, with talking with Bill, we kind of uncovered that culture's in many ways an operating system. At TrueFix, comebacks aren't kind of the grenades that you throw at a single tech. They're not even they're not even a standard that they try to reach, having no comebacks. It's actually a scenario where The shop works. It's a tire shop picture, and they're trying to uh, fix it together. And so I found that really, really interesting. I actually suggested at one point was, do you actually incentivize them to not have comebacks? And Bill jumped in and said, that's the baseline. You correct the car, you document for the reason, you change the process so it's not likely to reoccur. And then the standards become habits, not speeches. But if you offer incentives that drive habits, that drive outcomes, whether it's clean work orders, photo sets that tell the story clearly in 6 months. That's great, right? Torque checks are all signed. That's great. DVIs that a human can read and a lawyer can understand. I don't know about that last part. But when the baseline is do the right thing, bonuses are the reward when the discipline is repeatable. So but I really liked that thought process of you don't reward when they don't have any comebacks. That's the baseline. You reward based on discipline habits. I like that. All right. Again, listen to that podcast. Check it out. It's worthwhile. I was one of my favorite conversations. We also talked about how owners will sometimes burn. They're kind of like burning cash when they're guessing. If an alignment rack can't live with healthy utilization, then don't buy it just to feel complete. Partner with somebody who has it to keep the flow moving and keep the base available for your team. So find out what's working for you, what you have the capacity to do in house and what you don't. Be honest with yourself, and then partner with key people around town. But you still end up being the key point of contact. We don't recommend hiding that partner from people. And if once you have established enough of a relationship, you can even let the customer know up front. We use this, and you should let the customer know up front. We use XYZ for safety glass, or we use this person for the ADAS calibrations, and here's why. And I think by adding the here's why, you're going to add to that trust factor. Marketing has to match operations. Being in the marketing space, there are times when in the past, where we've had to wait for the shop to be able to bring it up to speed before we could truly do the marketing that they needed, right? That we want to make sure that we're bringing on shops that have their certain things together so that the marketing that we're doing is really going to work. One story for you that we were doing the marketing, and he was struggling to actually get the true benefit from our marketing services. And he ended up rebooting a lot of his staff. And lo and behold, the last 4 months in a row have been record-setting months. What changed? The marketing hasn't really changed. The marketing has actually improved, because sometimes with online marketing, it's not a quick switch. It does actually escalate, and accelerate over time. But really, the change was they were able to capitalize on the marketing that we were doing for them. So marketing has to match the operations, but sometimes the operations has to match the marketing as well, right? It's got to be both sides. If inspections are your feeder, then say it out loud. Book a state inspection, and we'll text you all the options before we touch a bolt. If a cosmetic win creates loyalty, then offer them while the car is already in your care. And when you do the right thing for the customer, of course, especially after a collision, reach back out with, if you bring in a customer who for collision, make sure that you're reaching back out in customer maintenance intervals as well. And again, that's if you're actually trying to handle both sides of the fence, to try to build that trust relationship the way Bill has. But it allows you to say that we're your people, even when you haven't had a bad day. How about that? You can watch this entire conversation. It's a perfect follow-up to the most recent panel that we had with shop owners who owned the mechanical and the collision side under the same roof, because Bill is the same way. And here's the heart of it. Truth builds capacity because it builds trust. When people believe in you, they're going to let you solve more of their problems. Owning the relationship while partnering with the task that you shouldn't keep inside allows you to keep the customer's experience clean and your liability sane. A culture that treats the misses as system fixes paired with the documentation that would make sense in 6 months from now turns a quality from a hope into a habit. I'll say that again so it's clear. I'm not a coach, I'm a marketer. And so if you need help getting found by us by the right customers and turning that demand into scheduled jobs, that's exactly what we do here at AA Shop Marketing. But for right now, I want to kind of hear from you. What's the single takeaway that you are getting from either this live or from the podcast with Bill? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you think. And also, I really, I really did enjoy. I mean, I often enjoy these one-on-one conversations. Um, there were a couple moments with Bill. Uh, I'll say it this way: listen to that podcast, and if you can come back to me and tell me uh, why the Cheerios were mentioned, all right. If you can come back to me and tell me why the Cheerios are mentioned, I'll do an analysis of your marketing for your shop. Currently, that $900 option, I'll do it for just $400. Right now, the first 5 people that actually go listen to the Bill episode, you tell me why Cheerios were mentioned. And instead of 900, I'll do that analysis for just 400. So $500 off. Just kind of a fun thing to, like I said, there's a lot of fun little pieces inside of that script, that podcast. It's worthwhile checking it out. So, without any more time on your end, I hope you head right over to Spotify or YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, or Apple Podcasts, and listen to Bill from TrueFix Auto. And I hope to hear from you soon.